what motivated me or really pushed me into footwear was you are told to go and give it to the Asante or the president of Ghana. You will know which type of product to take. The idea is to be able to make the industry competitive. It was an instant hit. Ordered for 20. It came within a week or two. I sold it within a period of 2 weeks. Then I realized that, okay, discussions where an artisan would tell you that Empabuano or the Kosi form.
So I know that most people say that businesses collapse in 5 years, right? Now that Giddins is over 10 years, what do you have to say to that data that is out there? This has always blown my mind. 73% of you that watch this podcast channel are not yet subscribed. The free and easy way that you can support us, that's me and my team, is by subscribing to this channel. And we promise you that we would come to you every 2 weeks with one interesting guest and have interesting conversations about business and creativity. Now let's get back into the show. So today we have someone by the name Gideon. I know him by Gideon. I don't know if that's his school name, but then I'm here to find out from him. So please, who do we have here?
I am Gideon Dendzo.
Gideon Dendzo. Gideon Dendzo, I've known you for quite a very short while, like a very short time. I've seen the products that you make, and that is why today we are here to actually have a very short conversation with you to understand how your company came about. Your company goes by the name Giddins. Yes, you guys have heard me mention Giddins before because I got a black shoe from Ghana and I love the stitch on it and I won't stop talking about it. But yes, today we are here to talk with the CEO. And so can you let us know how Giddins came about? Why Giddins?
Giddens was born out of a desire to take off the financial burden of my parents in the university. As the first of 4 kids, you realize that your money diminishes as your other siblings also come along. And so there was a need for me to find a sustainable way of staying on campus. And that was the reason for which I started Giddens. But along the line, what motivated me or really pushed me into footwear was I got introduced to a course in engineering because I did engineering sciences, strength of materials, where I discovered a material called conveyor belt, mostly used by manufacturing companies to transport one food product to the other. And I realized that as part of their safety measures or protocols, they discard those conveyor belts so that they could use new ones. I realized that the robustness of the conveyor belt could be harnessed and repurposed into the soles of shoes that could really last longer for students on campus because at the time, students did not really have a lot of money to buy expensive shoes or shoes that will not even last for them. But the soles that I used lasted for close to 4 years. And so we were giving students value for money, and also to push the idea of sustainability and recycling into their minds. Back then, I didn't know the concept of recycling and sustainability, but I realized that just the robustness of the conveyor belt, because of its tensile strength and all that, could be repurposed into the soles of shoes for students. So these two factors started the concept of Giddins Ghana. Giddins, yeah.
So why the name Giddins? Is it because your name? Because I think your name is...
Yeah, well, anytime I mention my name, I'm Gideon of Giddins, then everybody wants to make relate to the fact that I'm called Gideon. That could be true. That is true. But as time went by, we realized that Giddins is not just in relation to your name, but it stands for, dynamism. It stands for corporate responsibility or social responsibility. It stands for quality, So it embodies all these traits.
So that was the original thought. That's the original thought. So this is the original thoughts that I'm looking for.
Yes, the original thought was, responsibility because it takes a responsible firstborn to think ahead and know that, hey, you have other 4 kids, other 4 siblings, other 3 siblings, sorry. And so you needed to make sure you do not solely depend on your parents. And so if you are to go that angle, that is responsibility. Yeah.
Okay. That's That's quite deep. So tell me about your school days when you started manufacturing in school, because since you said you started in school, then I guess the whole production was in school then. Or was it outside school and then you came to sell it?
Yes, so I discovered that in, I think, going to my third year, second year to my third year. And I realized that Kumasi was the central hub for skilled artisans, especially when it comes to the footwear industry. And so, luckily for me, my brother was in tech, University of Science and Technology then, where I made contact with him to make contact with local shoe manufacturers to sell the concept or the idea to them that this is what I have, this is what I've discovered, and this is what I want to make. So he made a contact. I went to Kumasi over one weekend to look for us and to get the people that talked to, and we started. We started with 5 pairs of slippers. I remember brought it to campus Legon, sold it to my course mates. It was an instant hit. Ordered for 20. It came within a week or two. I sold it within a period of 2 weeks. Then I realized that, okay, this is something that will really be viable. I ordered for 65 more pairs. And I think within a month, I was done selling them. I used to sell them after lectures. I take some in my bag and take to lectures, sell to my classmates, tell them to tell their roommates and everything. And I go room to room with the help of some friends sometimes to sell to the students. So that was how I started. And after that, I did national service. I was still selling. Um, so yeah, campus this that was it.
I'd like to know, at what point did you choose that I want to continue this? Is it after you sold the first 20 pair or after you sold the 65?
I think after the first 5, I sold 20. When that was also an instant hit, I was like, okay, this is something I need to continue. And so I did a 65.
Did you take any courses to understand the business at that point, or it was just like, let me order more and then sell more?
So with my background as with having strength of materials, engineering, and the reason for which I even used the conveyor belt in the first place meant that I had a knowledge about the kind of materials to use. But then again, I used my short vacations to go to Kumasi, and likely because my brother was in tech and he hardly came home during vacation, so he was on campus. I had a chance to understudy the guys and to learn a thing or two. The idea was not to myself make the shoes, but was to understand the dynamics and know that, okay, if I give you 1,000 cities, I'm getting 10 pairs. So I just don't throw money away for them to say, oh, 1,000 can give you 3 shoes or something. So I needed to do those kind of attachments or internships to understand and to know what really goes into the process of making the shoes. So that was how I went about everything. But selling or trying to continue was born out of the fact that we needed to create employment. We needed to create avenues for other people to also benefit. I was looking at trying to take the burden of my parents. I was successful at that because then I hardly took money from my parents, all right. Or even when I asked and it didn't come on time, um,
Okay.
I was okay. So with that, I realized that there are more people who could also take off the financial burden of their family, when we are able to really scale this. All right. And looking at the fact that there were a lot more people, vulnerable youth, bottom of the pyramid populations who who in one way or the other didn't get access to education but could be trained in such skills, you know, then there was a need for me to continue.
This video is proudly brought to you by Board House Electrical, your one-stop place for all your solar needs. Imagine doing some serious work, then your lights go off. Charlie, ECG. That means you have a productive day because you solely depend on ECG to produce your work. With a complete solar system from Board House Electrical, you can provide all your power needs 24/7. You know, I'm even wondering why we are wasting the power of the sun when we have a lot of it. Like a lot of it. Charlie, the sun, it a burn. No. I'm not even going to talk about the increasing cost of electricity these days. Let's not even go there. Let's not go there. They said the thing has increased by 35%, but you are buying double of what you used to buy.
Contact Boardhouse Electrical with my promo code TJU and let them take care of all your solar needs.
All right, let's jump back into the interview.
Nice. I've seen that you do a number of training sessions. When did you start the training sessions?
So I would say that the training sessions have been long, right? We just had to formalize it somewhere around 20 thereabout, where when COVID hit, and there were widespread of job losses, and people also had to upskill with or gain other skill sets to be able to make ends meet, right? I had to partner with the Ghana Enterprises Agency through a the Young African Works Mastercard Foundation program to train, I think, 6 youth in leatherworks, all right, in bag making especially. The idea was to make sure that they're able to get some form of sustainable livelihoods and everything. Then looking at the skill gap within the sector, the leather sector today, if you're looking for artisans, it's very hard to find. If you go to the clothing industry too, you realize that it's very hard. If you go to carpentry, it's the same thing. I thought it wise that we needed to have a collaboration with Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, a department where they do leather works, because we realized that most leather students after school do not even veer into the leather companies. Maybe it's not attractive. Maybe they don't feel well compensated, or they are just not interested, or companies have not positioned themselves well for them to be recruited. So we had a discussion with their head of department to see how we could do a knowledge transfer. All right. Some of our guys are skilled. Some of the tech students just have the knowledge and they do not have practical hours, to be masters of the game. And so we needed to do that transfer of knowledge. All right. And so we've done a couple of students come do internship. The idea is to be able to make the industry competitive, right? And have a strong pipeline of experts, or to say knowledgeable or skilled people to fill the spaces or the vacancies within the industry. Yes. So that is the trainings that we've done. So we've also availed ourselves to train, collaborated with one NGO. Let's do it. GH, that's their name. Let's do it Ghana, to train girls within the Nima community on how to make bags, and and leather work stuff. So these are the trainings that we have done so far in the year.
So far in the years, when you initially started, what was it like recruiting people to work with? Because at that time, I'm sure there were not a lot of people who wanted to do it.
Yes, it's still a challenge, because then we need to be able to put them at par with the quality that we want and the quality that our customers demand of us. Right? I recount or recall where, I don't remember the year, but when we started the early stages, where I needed to sit the guys down and say that, look, we are doing products that are giftable, so that if you do the product and you are told to go and give it to the Santahino or the president of Ghana, you will know which type of product to take. Discussions where an artisan would tell you that empabuano or the kosi form, why do I have to pay attention to how their soul looks? These are some of the battles that we fought with artisans in the beginning. I didn't blame them that much. It's because of the exposure, because of where they've been and all that. So it played a part, right? But then at a point, we needed to streamline some of our processes and even have some form of paradigm shift with some of the artisans. And I think we've done that over the years. But back to your question, recruitment in our space is a little different from how the corporate sector does its stuff. But sometimes it's based on referral. Oh, I have a brother who is also good and this, all that. But when they come, you try to formalize, everything. Yeah. So sometimes you do put adverts there on social media. Some do call. They come. You need to make sure they try to attempt to sow a bag or two to see if they are perfect fit for your company. Yeah.
Okay, so it's more like a trial.
Yeah, you need to.
You have
Yeah.
to-
Especially if you're a skilled person already, we need to know if you're able to do that. Yeah. But then again, we also take people from scratch and run the apprenticeship model so that when they are done, you recruit them as permanent staff. Because then or the apprenticeship is sometimes it's either free or you are being charged for it. Yeah.
So it's just free or it's charged?
It's a combination of the two. It depends on the circumstances. Some we try to partner. We are yet to partner some agencies. So when we did that for Ghana Enterprises Agency, Ghana Enterprises Agency gave us something small to train. So the apprenticeship didn't bear the cost. All right. Somebody will be there with my mom, my daughter, my son. I want him to, he's done with school. I want him to come in. Now I want to take some just to, because during the practical hours, they will waste materials and all that. So at least they need to get up for that.
Okay. So I know that most people say that businesses collapse in 5 years, right? Um, Now that Giddins is over 10 years, what do you have to say to that data that is out there? How exactly do you think that you have abated that whole situation?
Well, first of all, it's the grace of God. That's my first and foremost thing to say. Because I feel that people are more knowledgeable than me, but their businesses have collapsed. Right. Two, it's about being financially disciplined as an entrepreneur. I've seen a lot of people gain or get grants and they've squandered their money used to buy things that are not really related to the business, right? So it's about being financially disciplined. Two, um, three, right? I also feel that it's about caring for your customers and always trying to engage your customers because they run a business. But then again, what I've come to realize is trying to also make sure that you try to put in some strict measures, stringent measures that everybody will be able to follow through. Sometimes it does not work that way. It doesn't happen almost all the time. But these are some of the few things I've seen. Trying to even get capital, one has to be to keep his or her books and all that. We didn't used to, but we learned along the line. One thing that has also helped me was joining incubators or incubation hubs and accelerator hubs that shaped, my mindset and helped me put, my business in shape to make it attractive to the banks, to make it attractive to investors, to make it attractive even to my staff, all right, and that of customers. So far, that's what I'll be able to say. And maybe probably networking with the right people.
Networking with the right people. Now you mentioned that it's quite challenging getting loans from banks, especially as a business. Did you face that challenge?
So it's difficult for you to give me 100 CDs if I don't have a proof, right? And if I'm not able to give you a very good reason for why I need the money. And I think that people are ready to help you when they've seen results. And so in the beginning, it becomes very hard for them to just dump their money into your business. Some of us have been fortunate to have people who trusted in us after some time to dump money into our businesses for returns. But what I observed during my incubation and acceleration programs is that most of us, you realize that maybe there's a lot of money in the system, but they are not able to give it to us, the entrepreneurs, because maybe perhaps we are not keeping our books well. We don't even pass our money through the banks. And so if a bank is looking for a trail of accounts, we don't have any. And so it becomes very difficult for them to invest or, give us the money. That's what I've seen. But then again, if you're able to sail through all these and you are getting the money or you're getting the financial injection as loan, the commercial banks, the interest rate is very high. And so it becomes very difficult for small businesses like mine and others to survive. But what I did was to, through this acceleration program, some of them come with either term loans, concessional loans at very low interest rate. Some could be combination of loans and grants. And that's what I have done. And so it made me set up to, um, put my business for. And likely, well, I was financially disciplined. And that is very key. Else you fail.
Else you fail, eh? Guaranteed.
Yes.
Still searching for the right computer? I know the feeling. Having the right computer makes all the difference. So whether you're working, gaming, or just staying connected, for almost a decade, I've been working with Elizone Enterprise for all my tech needs. They have quality computers and they also handle repairs and maintenance. So if you need something compact, check out this tablet. Small but powerful. And the best part is, they also deliver straight to you. Enough with the search. Call Elizone Enterprise today and let them handle all your tech needs without any hassle. Let's get back to the video.
Okay. Tell me about the acceleration, because you've mentioned it twice now. I'd like to know what's the incubation and the acceleration really is about.
Okay. So incubation mostly is when you take like a hen or whatever it is, it's incubating. But it's maybe you have an idea, it's in the baby stages, but you don't really have the expertise, the knowledge to go about your business. You might have the idea, but you need guidance. And that's what the acceleration hubs do. You could talk about, have Growth Center, you could talk about MDF West Africa. They are some of the incubation and accelerator hubs, or if I should say, enterprise support organizations, all right, that really supports entrepreneurs through the journey. Acceleration is, I've built my business to a level, but I need extra expertise and extra guidance on a lot of things, maybe legal, financial, planning my business, and all those things. With financial injection, that's what they do for you, all right? And some of them have a pool of investors who always come into their businesses and say that, look, I'm looking for 5 entrepreneurs, I'm looking for 50 entrepreneurs. I have a seed capital of maybe $1 million and I want to put into businesses. If you've gone through their program and they've trained you, all right, that, I've trained Giddins on financial management, I've trained Giddins on customer relations, I've trained Giddins on human resource capital, then Giddins is fit to be recommended to this investor. That's what they do. All right. So that's what the acceleration hubs do. All right. They are more like they are enterprise support organizations that help businesses to thrive and scale.
Okay. And now, if you were given an opportunity to present any of your products to somebody, say a president, probably not a president of Ghana, would you present it to? And which of your products would it?
That's a very tough question. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer that, but I've always said that one day a president will wear one of my shoes. I don't know who that president will be, but I think that always we need to start from home. Definitely will be the president of the country that I reside in. Whoever the president is, I feel that he or she deserves it. And so I'll not mention a name, but if you are doing the interview this year, definitely is the president of the country. If you are doing it 2 years back, would have been the president of exactly. Right. But I would love again for the World Trade Organization's boss to wear, because that's more related to trade. All right. To wear our products. It could be any of our products. It could be shoes, it could be slippers, it could be a enema.
You are very confident in any of the products going out.
Exactly. Exactly. If it's somebody outside of Ghana, definitely it's going to be something ahenema that will depict the Ghanaian heritage. It's going to, if it's a female, it's going to be one of our handbags with an accent of the African print, in it too. Talk about the African heritage, the boldness that lies within the African, because of the African print colors, bright colors, and all that.
Right. So tell me about your design process. Are you the one who comes up with the designs yourself, or you have a team that comes up with the design?
We don't have an in-house designer. We all come together to get the designs done. What happens with shoes is elsewhere, everywhere, you realize that most of the shoes are around the same thing. It's just how you put it together. It's mostly the designs are, if you look at the global brands,
Yeah.
if it's an Oxford, it's an Oxford, But with the bags, we have a production manager, we have a master craftsman. And so they try to put designs together. Again, some of our designs are inspired by customers, their feedbacks, how they want it, and sometimes we do get some inspirations from the internet and we tweak it to our taste and that of the taste of our customers.
Okay, so that's what you've been doing for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to ask this very short but quite complex question because we'll have you talking for a long while. For the past 10 years, for every year, would you be able to recount what you learned after every year and share with us?
Um, when I started, I realized that you needed to believe in yourself because there were a lot of, why will you leave your engineering course and just go and do shoes and all that? So one needed to believe in himself and his dreams and what he stood for, right? That's what I got in the initial stages. Going forward, I realized that one had to be resilient because then the battles keep coming from right, left, center, and all that. Again, I realized that rejections come every time. People didn't believe in your products. People didn't believe in what you were doing. People were used to things from elsewhere and they are accustomed to it. Sometimes it's not as if your product is a bad one. They are used to a particular one. And so trying to switch becomes very difficult for them. And so you needed to go the extra mile to convince, either with your quality, convince with your customer service, and all that. So that was one thing I observed. Sometimes the most difficult customers become family, And so one should be tact when trying to deal with very difficult customers in the initial stages. Some people are just people who will not want to buy your product, and that is fine. Again, we realized that you can't serve everybody. Along the line, I realized that you can't serve everybody, and so we needed to segment our customers, and that was one thing that the acceleration hubs also did, incubation hubs also did for us. So you can't serve everybody. The price point, not everybody will be able to afford it. You don't have to waste so much time on the people who will not be able to afford it and trying to drag you back. Try to, in as much as things will be going high, try to make sure you cut down costs because the costs associated with production and running the business sometimes will be high. And if you don't take care, it will not make your product competitive. When we started, we were trying to do customization for everybody. Oh, I want this shoe and we want to go and do it for the person just to make sure that the person is happy. That was okay in the early stages, but it was also a bad thing for us because it didn't make us production efficient.
It wasn't scalable.
It wasn't scalable. It didn't make us production efficient. And to be honest, our customers at the time or even now are not willing to pay 3 times the price for a customized product. And so why, do that? And so we have reverted to, we have more like redesigned our model to do more of batch productions. This is what we have for this season. This is what is available. If you're looking for what we produce maybe some time back, we'll give you a schedule for which it will be ready, And that has helped us maintain a steady flow of product, a steady flow of customers and orders. Some might be disappointed. Yes, that is correct. But for the general sustainability of the business, some decisions need to be taken. I also realized that along the line, because we started with people, we started as a student brand, those who helped you and everything, when they do come to the shop, they want to deal with you directly, even when you're not around. It took us time to explain to them that, look, we need to build a business independent of us. And the people we hire are equally as good as us. And so you shouldn't be attached to the owner of the business. I get it. Sometimes you are the reason for which somebody will leave all the way from Tema to come to you and come and buy because they have a personal relationship with you and because they know you and they want to buy your product. But then again, if you're buying Pepsodent, you don't need to know the owner who started. So we've had to constantly remind our customers, especially those who started with us, that they're building a business independent of us. They're putting in systems where the customer service person is able to decide how much discount to give you. You're putting in systems that will make the customer service or whoever comes here say that, look, I will give you this. Whatever I will say here is final. And we've done that over the past few years and months, or some of them months, some years, right? Where when you call, whatever the customer service says is final. And I won't do anything about it because if you put yourself in the shoes of the customer service person, how will you feel when her decisions or his decisions are not taken? Right. These are some of the things that we need to do. Else, then there was no need employing the person. So that is one thing that I've also come to learn. And they've taken it in good faith. Some of my friends do not even text me again. They text the shop rather because, they understand. Yeah, yes. So yeah. I think so. Raising capital could be tedious, but I think when you're diligent enough, you'll be able to get the capital. And when you are faithful to your loaners or your bankers, they'll want to give you more. Um, One thing I've also learned is networking and being part of associations, right? Networking is very key. There are people who will be able to hold your hands and direct you to people that really matter in the industry and even in Ghana. And so these are some of the things. And social media, I think we've been able to sell 60% of our sales do come from social media. And it's something that I've learned. And day in, day out, things the algorithm keep changing. So you need to be abreast with, the algorithm that social media has. And so far, human relations with your staff is one critical thing that every business person should be able to do. It's tough for me sometimes. People, artisans, especially come in and go, and a whole lot of factors, right? If you talk to my other entrepreneurs in my space, you realize that these are some of the same things going on here and there. And so maybe I need to develop more or learn more about, develop more skills in that, so that I'm able to scale that, on that level. But I think all in all, that has been the learners, and I'll back that with the God factor because had it not been for him, I'm not sure we would have been here by now. And I'm sure all those mistakes, the learnings, I wouldn't have been able to put it into good use to be where we are now.
And now, what is that one big mistake that you made?
I wish I did corporate for a year or two before coming to do entrepreneurship. Um, I'm sure I would have learned, I would have implemented a lot of things in the early stages um, to push our business way further than where we are now. I'm sure I would have learned a thing or two in corporate structures, because you just came from university, you started, and it was difficult putting down structures, for people to follow. And sometimes you see when you go for these programs with other entrepreneurs who did corporate, right? you realize you could see it. But that being said, we also learned along the line. Yeah, that was one thing I wish I did before doing entrepreneurship. But all in all, starting off that also gave me that tenacity, the willpower, you know. And I know that there's nowhere I'm going, because then the temptation to go back to corporate when you were in corporate, when things are not going well, is very high. But here, this is what you have, you know. It's either you are redesigning your business model to make to make it more profitable, or you're adding on a different business that you think is booming. So yeah.
So right now, if you're given the opportunity, you would not switch to corporate.
If I'll do corporate, yeah, no. So there are times I want to do corporate. That being said, I'm sure definitely I'll do corporate in some few years to come in the IT space.
In the IT space.
It could still be within, if it could still be within this, it should be related. If currently I'm doing entrepreneurship, as one IT skills that you want to get will be data analytics. You're able to gather your own data, use it to make informed decisions, and that will help you as to which product lines, you know, to produce more, which products to enter into, which ones to drop. I could have used that from a consultancy, help other businesses within the space, or young entrepreneurs or young businesses, help them with the data in their own business that they are sitting on, that they are not aware of, right? Help them, you know, capitalize on that to make them more profitable and sustainable.
The data that you're talking about, what kind of data are you looking at gathering? What kind of data are you gathering right now that you think is very, very crucial?
We implemented an inventory software last year, and the insight told us a lot of things. It told me a lot of things: where to cut costs, which products to um, produce more, which sizes, and all those things. And I realized, okay, we were not doing this, we were not getting this, information, but now we do. And it dawned on me that, okay, there are a lot of your friends who are in this space who are sitting on data and they don't know what to do. So if I veer off, I'm not going to veer off my business, but if I want to enter corporate, that's what I'm going to do. Exactly. Either that or ESG, sustainability stuff. I'm still thinking about.
Interesting. So tell me one thing you think about Ghanaian businesses that you think people should, if whoever starts a business in Ghana, should just be very careful about.
Be careful about who you trust as your staff, and just make sure you put in systems to block a lot of loopholes that will plunge your company into financial bankruptcy.
Mm.
I think basically that. Yeah, basically that. But then again, financial indiscipline is one thing I've seen with a lot of my Ghanaian entrepreneurs, like business people. All right, you request for a loan to buy equipment for production and go and buy a vehicle. Everybody,
Of the equipment.
uh, those are the equipment for production.
It helps.
So those are some of the things, right? Where everybody is from their business, right? So yes, you want to, if you are saying 100,000 for equipment, and maybe you use even the 80,000 to buy the equipment, it's fair enough. You can take the 20 and use it to do other things, but not the majority of the money, and they can't even buy the equipment, right? We all do. So I wouldn't want to lambast anybody. But what I'm trying to say is majority should go into what you requested the money for. Right? But the human relation is the human capital is very important, because then, yes, we might have systems. Yes, systems is very important, but it's the workers that can collapse your business. Right. Yeah. If we are also able to treat our workers well, we can sleep at home and know that they will treat the customers well. If they are not treated well, they will not treat the customers well, and the customers will not come. And so that is one thing that I think I will tell everybody.
Is there an experience that you've had with any worker before?
In terms of,
Experience.
oh no, so sometimes they will just, everybody is, I think everybody is motivated by different things. Some money, some career progression, some gaining other experiences, right? You might not have it all. So maybe should be my responsibility to be able to nurture or tap, to be able to draw on the what motivates everybody, so that I as a manager will be able to see how I'm able to satisfy everybody. Yes, but you might not have it as a business person all rosy with um, every employee, right? I'm not sure I want to sit here and say that this one has done this or this one has done this, but what I would say is it's a learning curve for me as a business person. And so every business owner should be able to know what staff is motivated by, or, and know how you'll be able to satisfy them. Some have done that, but still workers are some way. Some are some way. Some are also very good. I've had my customer service person for like 6 years. Yeah, cool. And
It's a long time.
I also feel that never deny your staff an opportunity when they deserve it. That's one thing I've come to see. It creates some form of rippling effect in your business when you give them the opportunities that they deserve. Be it training opportunities, be it travel opportunities where they will, go experience things for themselves, and you give it to those who deserve it. I happen to have my sister in my company, the production, but when an opportunity came, I gave it to someone else because that person deserved it. And I have seen the results of what I did.
So now I'd like you to tell me 3 things that I know you've mentioned 10, but I want you to scale it down to 3. 3 main things that you take out from your 10 years journey and pour that wisdom onto us. That we are now starting.
Good, good, good. I'll give you the ability to create wealth, and that was in Deuteronomy, right? 8:28 or 8:18, one of them. Um, Entrepreneurship is about creating businesses. It's about creating ideas that will translate into money. And so God is saying that He will give you the ability to produce wealth. He will give you the ability to create wealth. You know, so you need to go to Him as your source. And so God, that one, how do you want to take it out? 2, integrity. That made it possible for me to get my first, you know, loans from my friends. I just went to one banker and I just told the person, and that was it. So integrity and being truthful about your financial stuff and everything. And networking is very important. Networking is very important. Networking is very important. I think that you realize that you are not doing business in a vacuum. You need people. You need people who matter as well, and being affable to everybody. You know. And so that's what I have come to see. Right? Cash is king. Customers are also king. Treat your staff well.
Mm, Thank you for that. Now, tell my audience something.
Hi, lovely listeners and viewers of The Journey Uncovered. I am Gideon of Giddins, a leather manufacturing company that specializes in making leather products, shoes, bags. You are looking for an inspiring entrepreneurial story. This is the page to come to. You get insightful information, motivation, and inspiration to start your own journey. You might be stuck in your business, but just listening to somebody's story and how they came out of it, you'll be inspired, you will gather momentum to go over again and you emerge victorious. Thank you for watching.
All right, guys, that's the end.